What's going on, everybody? It's Tiger Hybrid. I'm going to take you and walk you through how I plan to build and how to build the recirculating DWC system that is going to be set up at Site A. The new system, not the old one. The new one, they operate, the same principles. So the whole intentions of this video is to show you how to build a recirculating DWC system from start. So initially you're going to take whatever kind of container that you've chosen. We've got these nice containers right here that we got from the department store. They got a lid, and then you got your rope. It's a rope tote, so then it's got its lid. I want to say it's probably like $13, $14, something like that for the whole thing. We got 6 of them, so however many sites you plan on running, it could be one site. You're going to want to drill your lid, or you're going to want to make a lid. If you need to make a lid with a rope tote, you can always use a piece of wood. I probably wouldn't go anything smaller than a 1/2 inch. Essentially, you're going to make basically your own lid, the diameter of the container, and you're going to lay it flat on top of it. You're going to wrap it with Panda Poly. But if you can find a lid to fit your container, such as these ones at the department stores, I would suggest using these. Although they're white, we're going to put bubble wrap. We're going to put radiant barrier bubble wrap around the top of these. We're going to make them quite sufficient. So the containers themselves, they're pretty dark. The reason why I'm using these, because they're just cheaper, and the water volume is less. So without trying to double or triple my water volume, trying to add more sites in, I don't want to have to upgrade in a chiller. So what I'm doing is I can do just as good in these as I can a 30-gallon bin. The theory behind it is just the same. It's just keep everything happy and the root zone good. Essentially, there's only one plant going in this anyway, and that's more than enough room. So this is how we're going to do this. What I'll do is, if you're going to, depending on the size of net pots that you like to use, the most popular ones I want to say are the 5 and 6 inch net pots. Try and use one that has a lip around the edge of it, so when you do drill, cut out your hole for your net pot, that it actually catches and it seats properly without the chances of it falling through. So basically, you're going to set your compass for the diameter of your net pot. You're going to do a circle like that. Some kind of drilling tool. I got a 1/2 inch spade bit here. Drill your hole on the inside and do all your lids just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll them with a jigsaw. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Let me pull it out. Alright, there we go. So we got our jigsaw. What you're going to want to do is just basically scroll and cut out the circle. Now you can use a blade, a utility knife. The chances of you hurting or cutting yourself, greatly increase. So I suggest just using some kind of tool that can make it, a lot easier for yourself. So we're just basically, it's kind of hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time. We're going to just cut a line all the way around the circle you traced. So in this case, we got 6 sides, so we're going to cut 6 lids. Alright, now that we're done cutting out the hole for a net pot with a jigsaw, you don't have to use a jigsaw, but try to. It makes it a lot easier on yourself, and it cuts a perfect hole. Let's go ahead, drop our net pot in. Nice fit right there, and it's very, very solid. I'm happy with that. To the bottom of the net pot with the rope totes, they hold 10 gallons exactly. So with 6 sites, it'll be a total of 60 gallons. The control reservoir is actually going to be a 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't have to be a container the same size as your plant sites. So a control module can be pretty much whatever you want it to be. It could be a trash can, a 5-gallon bucket, whatever works for you. So in this case, we're going to use a 5-gallon bucket. So let's move on to the next step. We checked our net pot. The net pot fits. We're just going to tip this over, and we're going to choose a location for our or bulkheads. And to make it easier, choose right under the handle location. So you can see the handle location. Just go right under this, so you know on the opposite side you're drilling directly, a parallel line, your holes. For these containers, I've chosen a 1.5 inch Unisil bulkhead fitting. And for 1.5 inch, you're going to drill a 2.5 inch hole. If you're using a 2 inch Unisil, you're going to want to drill a 3 inch hole. So this would be a 76 millimeter bit for a 2 inch Unisil, 2.5 inch for a 1.5 inch Unisil. We're only moving 60 gallons of water, so we don't really need these that big. I plan on insulating this pipe when I'm done. It's just going to be cheaper to do it like that. So this will be plenty sufficient. For the returns into the 5-gallon buckets, we are going to use 1 inch returns for the Unisils with the Unisil. So on the control reservoir, they're going to be 1 inch. And 1.5 inch feed lines on the bottom of that 5-gallon bucket, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So right now we're going to go ahead and just make a little, it's hard to hold all this stuff in place. There we go. You're basically going to kind of set your bit right here once it's attached to your gun, and you're going to drill slightly up from the bottom. I just eyeball it, and that looks like about right. It looks like about 1 inch up from the bottom, and that's plenty. You want to give enough room for the spacing gap to allow for the gasket to fit. So essentially we're going to be right around there somewhere. Okay, drill that out. Again, go slow with these. There's no reason to just zip right through them. We're not drilling through wood or plaster or concrete. You're drilling through a really thin plastic container. So just take your time with it. Your pilot hole right there, that's your starter point. And then just take it easy with these bits, because they are jagged and they can just tear the plastic up really easy, and you'll have to replace the container. And so let's get this drilled out. I'll show you what that looks like. There you go. We got a perfect 2.5 inch hole with our blade. I use Lennox because they're sharp and accurate. So we can go ahead and just test dry fit the Unisil. It just basically pops right in. There you go. You're going to want to do one on the reverse back side of this, or the side that you plan on plumbing right after this container. You could either do a 90 and bring it out here, or you could just continue a straight run on the back side and continue a straight line, and that's what we plan on doing. So on the other side of this container, I'm going to go ahead and drop another one right here, and it'll be basically a straight run. So that's it. Alright, now we're trucking along, guys. We got the carpet down, we got the vapor barrier underneath. It's just that anti-spill subfloor protectant type thing. What we're working on right now is getting these totes insulated. Previously we were running the Brute, those 28 gallon square tubs. They work great. They hold a shit ton of water. With 8 of them, including a control res, you can be at 200 gallon capacity. That's a lot of water for DWC. It's good. It keeps things stable. More water, the better. But at the same time, there's always up and down to everything. The more water, especially if you live in warmer or drier climates, the more gear you're going to need to keep that more water cool. In this case, I'll be having, if I was to run 6 of those bins and a control res, I'm at like 150 some gallons. So I would also have to buy another chiller. I'm not looking to buy another chiller. At the same time, I'm not looking to purchase a couple more AP60s to run for the larger water volume. So what I decided to do was switch back to rope totes, and this is kind of what we did, or what I've done. We're insulating them with the Reflectix that you can get in the home goods, just like the home supply store. Reflectix insulation So there is less transfer of heat between the room and your cold water containers. The stuff is really good. It basically reminds me of a thick bubble wrap with the a radiant barrier on both sides here and on the inside. So what I've done is kind of make it like this all the way around. I'll show you how I do that here in a second. So I took the length, the total circumference of the container, and I just cut that of the widest area, which would be the top, and it does taper down at the bottom, which makes it kind of complicated to wrap efficiently. So taking that top circumference, what I did is lay that out, cut that length like you see here. I made a slit in the middle because when it's tapered, this is going to fold over each other like so, and it's going to create that nice even look. I know I got this duct tape here. That's only because the that HVAC tape was not sticking well to this Reflectix. It would literally just peel right off within a couple hours. Duct tape, fucking solid. So on top of that, on the reverse side, you can see that there's also directly in the middle between the outer slit. This is for the handle, so this slides up into the handle like that, and I'll show you that right here. If you can see that, there's two little tabs. Okay, when they're blown in this container, these are just like support tabs if you were going to pick it up with any kind of weight. So basically, it's insulated all the way up into the top right there, and then duct tape brings it down here tapered, and adheres that together, and then does the same thing on this side. How well this is going to actually, work and efficiency, how much efficiency it's going to bring, I don't know. Only time will tell. But I do know between the 6 containers, each to the bottom of the net pot, each of these is 9 gallons, which benefits me. I can run fewer air stones. I can also run my 1/4 horsepower chiller and not have to upgrade. So that's the whole reason I went back to these. And at the same time, while we're decking this room out and kind of, bringing it back to life here, we're just gonna take all this, we're gonna do extra stuff that I typically wouldn't do. I'm gonna do, and on top of that, because this is a single bank, it's going to be a single bank return DWC system, but at the same time, it's going to go around the room, but it's also going to have an option in the middle to where I can redivert one side of the return back to the main control res, which would contain nutrients, allowing you to run perpetual harvest if you ever decided to do so. Those are the small little details to think about when you're setting up a room. Are you ever going to want to do perpetual harvest? If I was to set all this up without that included, I would have to tear it all apart, all the plumbing, all the return plumbing, and redo it all again. So it's the little tiny pieces that literally cost probably like in between 20 and 40 bucks that I can add to the system now to have that option later and not have to tear anything apart. The option's just always sitting there waiting for me. I'll show you how to build that on camera, but at the same time, we are running 1.5 inch, 40 feet to be exact. By the time I start here, go all the way around this 12 foot by 12 foot room, in here, and then go all the way back, we're going to be at 40 feet of 1.5 inch PVC, scheduled 40 PVC. So what I did is got some insulation. I'm always thinking about this. We're insulating the totes. Why wouldn't you insulate the 40 feet of moving water traveling through the room? So at the same time, we're going to insulate the hope you can see this material. It is the spongy one. It is not the styrofoam stuff. This is the really good not contractor grade, premium insulation when it comes to HVAC, and it is stick. It just peels and sticks, and you can throw a couple zip ties on there if you want to secure it as well. So we got some of that stuff, a whole lot of that, and we're insulating our containers right now. And once this is all done, I'll show you what it looks like. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the rest of these buckets and get them all in place and start cutting my pipe and start pushing things in, connecting all the dots here because we need to get rolling. I have a nice little surprise clone only strain over here that I haven't really seen too much product of. I've seen it once or twice over the last year, but before I haven't really seen it all that much. But so we're gonna run those. I'll share that with you later in a different video, a strain review video. Hey guys, I just want to share with you real quick, talk about making sure that your container is, especially if you're running monster plants, is dead center with your light fixture. And if you can see my plumb bob laser right here, it's on my hand, and I know by using a plumb bob laser that if I shoot it up from the floor, it's even with the light. So looking at it here, I got it dead center, obviously on the center of the container there. Here on the bottom, it shoots a beam up. So we have a beam there on the floor, and it goes all the way up to the center of light. And you don't have to do this with a plumb bob laser, but you can do it with some heavy object on the middle of a string. So if you have a piece of string, you would kind of do it in reverse of what this plumb bob laser does. You would hang it or just hold it somewhere centered where you think is centered on your hood, and either tape it there or have a friend tape it there, and then move your container to where that heavy object is, using gravity to its advantage to get you the dead center of your container. So your container and your hood are in perfect alignment. So take that step out, take that step in initiative to make sure that your containers are directly centered with your hoods, and it's just like this, a dead center. And you want to do stuff like that, and also do that kind of stuff with, here, I know we're running 4 containers and we're only running 3 lights, but regardless, these containers are divided up evenly between these 3 hoods. So also space your containers out starting from the wall. You can measure them and subtract the width of your containers and then divide that by how many containers you have, and you'll end up with roughly your dimension between the wall and each container. So it's a good little tip I wanted to share with you guys. Again, plumb bob laser. I have all these tools because I do all kinds of crazy shit for a living. So and it's fun, but that's it, dead center. And if you don't have that, just use the rope and like maybe a fishing weight or some kind of heavy paper clip or something that works. Alright guys, Tiger Hybrid, peace out. Cool, now that our containers are insulated and we have dead center and the equal spacing between each container and the wall, what I'm doing now is doing a soft layout of the plumbing. So basically, I cut a piece how I think it needs to be and dry fit it, and then angle, and kind of get all my adjustments right. And then once I have everything dry fitted together, then we're going to start gluing things together and cementing, bonding these PVC fittings together forever. And once they are bonded with pipe dope, there's no going back. There's no redoing it. So if you glue or bond one thing and it's not right, you're gonna have to start all over. And if it's a manifold like this, it's gonna cost you a little bit of money to replace. So it's a good idea to always do a dry fit, a dry run, to make sure every pipe is long enough or short enough and it's gonna fit properly. And once you go to glue it together, so that's what we're doing here. Working on this manifold and the pipe dope that I use normally I don't have it right now, but it's just an all-purpose clear PVC cement, and I honestly don't know what color this is. It doesn't say, but it's just, I got this at Walmart because the stuff that I had was dried up, and it's like 2 a.m. So I had to run to Walmart and get this so I can get this stuff done. So in the morning it'll be dry and we can move on, fill it up with water and get stuff flowing through it. Double check everything for leaks, triple check everything for leaks, always do that kind of stuff. So basically the layout you see right now is the way that it's going to be, but obviously there's going to be a return. This is our pump manifold going 1 inch directly to reducing to 1.5 inch ball valve, a union ball valve, and reduced to 1 inch to accommodate the pump inlet, and then the pump automatically reduces it from a 1 inch to a 1/2 inch on the outlet. And so I just put a fitting on there to bring it back out to a 1 inch, so 1/2 inch to a 1 inch ball valve, or a double union ball valve right there, and then our drain valve, and then this gets plumbed right back into our control module, which is basically a hefty trash can. So like, if you can't see that, maybe you can. It's kind of dark in here, so yeah, right there. So that's it, guys. I still got this one to work on. It's gonna come out angle and plumb into this. So this is gonna feed everything just like this. Circle back around the room, and it's going to come back into this pump. Pump's going to return it to the control module, and around we go 24/7. That's it. Right now I am going to go ahead and start working on the pipe dope. Alright guys, high grow. I'll catch you when this system is all doped up. Cool. Now that you guys have been working on installing your PVC fittings together, I wanted to show you, because today's a new day. I went out and got what I typically use to mend these pipes together. The pipe dope is medium OD clear PVC cement. This is what I typically use. In a rough position, I was using this last night at Walmart. From Walmart, there's no difference, really. So one's all-purpose, one's just for PVC, but they are both clear. So let me take you over here, and I want to give you a little tip. While you're installing your fittings, when you're doing your dry run, and then you come to your final install where you're gluing and mending these pieces together, make sure that you have a depth line. So you're going to come in here and put a depth line. So once you take this fitting off, this 45 off, you're going to have something that looks like this. Let me show you real quick. Looks just like that. So this is how far you're going in with your pipe fitting and how much you need to cement. At the same time, you have a reference line here on the top. That lines up your next fitting install. So this will align properly with the container. Always do these reference lines. So once I go to install this piece back on, it will match up with that line, and it will be perfectly square between this 45 and that 45, which you don't want, because you can't, once these things are glued, you can't adjust them. So you don't want this one to be, cocked up in the air like that. So draw your reference marks, make sure they're square before you glue them together. Alright guys, at this point we're moving along with rinsing the totes out And then after we fill them up with water and rinse them out, we're going to just run our hands along the bottom of each one of these seals. I've never had one leak, so it shouldn't be a problem. But definitely you want to always check your manifold to make sure. It's usually, if there is a leak, it's usually typically somewhere around the manifold on the pump. So, and it's usually just either adding some pipe thread, Teflon tape, or just tightening something up a little bit more. That's about it. Right now we're just basically, I'm trying to clean the system from all the work material, rinse everything off so we can fire this thing up and get moving. Yeah, I'm excited. Alright, I'm going to clean it all out. Now basically how I'm doing that is just taking my garden hose, going around to each one. And doing just like this. And then I will shop vac. Then I'll drain the water through the pump manifold, and then I'll shop back out whatever little tiny bit of water is in the bottom of the containers. So right now we're just filling things out. I'm going to test drive the system a little bit and clean it out at the same time. Alright guys, catch you in a little bit. Peace out.